What is up, my beautiful soap-obsessed family? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Luna Johnson from GH Spoilers, coming at you on a gorgeous, slightly overcast Tuesday here in New York. We've got a massive storm brewing in Port Charles today, and I am here to break down the absolutely wild news about Jason's impending July return and the dark site drama that is currently holding him hostage. Grab your coffee because we are diving deep into the madness. Oh, my god. Stop scrolling right now. I'm literally speechless. Are they for real, besties? Can we unpack the audacity of the General Hospital writers right now? I just hit stop on an emergency live stream at 2 a.m. because that cliffhanger literally broke my brain and I desperately need to decompress. Dude, I'm so shocked my jaw literally hit the floor when the massive leaks dropped confirming that Steve Burton is officially heading back to the set in June for a monumental, game-changing on-screen return in the third week of July. We all knew Jason wasn't going to stay locked away in the dark forever, but the actual, confirmed details of his current whereabouts have me spiraling into a completely chaotic blur of pixels and tears. I am serving a messy mix of we are so back hype and I'm filing a lawsuit levels of frustration. Because the sheer scale of the trauma they are putting our absolute favorite legacy hitman through is completely astronomical and deeply unfair. Let's talk about the actual gameplay mechanics of this storyline, because it is wild, and we need to dissect every single frame. We finally got the confirmation from Jack Brennan right before he got accidentally jabbed with Drew Kane's paralytic medication by a panicking Nina Reeves, which is a whole other level of total kinetic chouse moments. Brennan dropped the absolute bombshell that Jason is currently being held in a highly classified WSB dark site in Jakarta. Yes, Jakarta. Does anyone else feel physically attacked right now? The WSB is basically operating like a rogue shadow government, and Ross Cullum is pulling the strings to keep Jason buried, alive in an off-the-books hellhole halfway across the world. The absolute audacity to take Port Charles's most lethal enforcer and lock him in a black site just because he took the fall for a crime he didn't commit is sending me into orbit. I am actually losing my sanity over here. Hot take incoming, but we really need to talk about the rumor that Jason might return with severe PTSD. I know some people are really enjoying this idea of a more vulnerable, emotionally shattered Jason, but personally, it feels so jarring and out of character. Jason is the guy who survives building collapses, severe brain damage, and being frozen in time. He is the human equivalent of a titanium vault. To think that this Jakarta dark site is the thing that finally breaks his psychological armor is low-key devastating. But get this, it actually makes a twisted kind of sense if you look at the sheer duration of his isolation and the extreme psychological warfare the WSB employs. If they are subjecting him to sensory deprivation and interrogations, even Jason's impossible lightning reflexes can't save his mind from fracturing under that kind of relentless pressure. It's 100% fine to be a total contradiction, because I am both terrified of seeing him broken and absolutely fascinated by the potential acting masterclass Steve Burton is about to deliver on our screens. Remember when they tried this with Victor Cassadine during the Greenland adventure? Yeah, it went nowhere back then either. Well, okay, it led to Victor's epic demise, but the whole massive ensemble rescue mission mechanic is something the show loves to recycle and sometimes fumble. During that massive storyline, we had Spencer H. Trina Robinson and half the town trapped in a frozen wasteland while a massive team assembled to bring them home. Now, we are staring down the barrel of another multifaceted rescue operation. Essentially, the writers are rebooting the epic rescue trope, but this time, the stakes feel even more personal, because it is Jason on the line. The god-tier mechanical execution of a coordinated strike on a heavily fortified WSB black site is exactly the kind of high-octane and blockbuster drama this show needs to survive the summer slump. It's straight-up facts, no cap. And wait, we absolutely cannot forget about our queen Anna Devane. Is this same tragedy happening to Anna all over again? She is currently trapped in a mental health clinic in France, completely isolated and convinced that César Faison is haunting her, while Jen Sidwell and Ross Cullum manipulate her reality from the shadows. Chris McKenna tweeted a few weeks back that Anna is on her way, which means her trajectory is on a direct collision course with Jason's massive summer arc. Don't you feel it's so unfair for them? These two legacy icons are simultaneously locked away in international prisons, one physical in Jakarta, one deeply psychological in France. The parallel is striking and heartbreaking. A coordinated dual rescue mission where the Port Charles squad splits up to extract Jason from the WSB and Anna from that twisted clinic would be an absolute slay. Also, Let's look at the squad assembling back home, because the alliances forming right now are legitimately blowing my mind. Sonny Corinthos and Ethan Lovett are officially plotting to take down Ross Cullum and Jen Sidwell. Yes, you heard me right. Ethan Lovett is back in the mix and teaming up with the mob boss to dismantle this corrupt WSB faction. Add Valentine Cassadine to that roster, and you have a lethal combination of mob power, mercenary tactics, and pure, unadulterated vengeance. The fact that Sonny is finally waking up to the reality of Cullum's corruption is a massive relief. I am fully manifesting a massive brain dump with the squad, because holding this in is literally not an option. The strategic planning, the back alley meetings, the sheer tension of trying to outmaneuver a rogue WSB director. It is legit cinema, and I am eating up every single second of it. I need to fully nerd out over the lead dev's crazy update history for a second, because the writing team has been dropping these massive lore bombs left and right, Cullum as the ultimate big bad of the summer. But the rumor mill is churning, and massive leaks are suggesting that Cullum might actually be gone by June. Wait, I'm getting way too deep in the weeds. If Cullum is written out or taken down in June, who is running the dark site in July when Jason is supposed to return? Does Sidwell take full control of the operation? Or does the entire WSB apparatus collapse, leaving Jason to navigate his own way out of Jakarta? Anyway, back to the actual gameplay. The timeline mechanics suggest that the rescue mission has to kick off almost immediately if they are going to coordinate a global extraction before the July sweeps absolutely destroy our emotional stability. Let's take a trip down memory lane, because Jason being presumed dead and needing a rescue is practically a soap opera genre of its own at this point. Think back to the iconic Patient 6 era. He was held captive in the Boronsky Clinic in Russia, heavily drugged and treated like a literal lab rat by the most sinister doctors on the planet. It took Ava Jerome, of all people in the world, helping him escape because she thought he was the missing Nicholas Cassadine. That entire arc was a masterclass in tension and slow burn reveals. Jason had to rely on his raw survival instincts and those impossible lightning reflexes to break out of a heavily fortified medical prison. Seeing him systematically dismantle the guards at the Boronsky Clinic was pure adrenaline. Now, he is in a WSB dark site, which is essentially Boronsky on steroids. The security protocols, the isolation, the sheer impossibility of the extraction, it is low-key the most dangerous situation he has ever been placed in. And then we have the more recent trauma, the catastrophic tunnel collapse under the Cassadine mansion in Greece. Jason was presumed dead yet again, crushed under tons of rubble only to be forced into servitude by the FBI and the late Jagger Cates. He was blackmailed, manipulated, and completely stripped of his agency just to protect his family back home. Don't you think they should give the man a break for once in his life? The fact that he is alive this time but still imprisoned is a cruel twist of fate that has me screaming at my television. He took the fall for Rocco Falconeri shooting Cullum because he is endlessly beautifully loyal, and his reward is rotting in a cell in Jakarta. The psychological weight of knowing he sacrificed his freedom for Dante and Lulu's son, only to be abandoned in a black site, is incredibly heavy. It's straight up devastating. And I am absolutely nuking the comments in a post-release frenzy, because my heart simply cannot take this level of angst. This is just my personal take, and many might disagree, but what if Jason doesn't get rescued at all? What if he orchestrates his own violent, spectacular breakout? Since Jason was rescued the last 2 times, he was presumed dead. Maybe the writers are finally flipping the script on us. Imagine Jason running purely on sheer survival instinct and the raw adrenaline of his potential PTSD, tearing through a WSB dark site in Jakarta like an absolute force of nature. If Brennan is down in a coma and Cullum gets neutralized in June, the chain of command at the dark site might completely fracture, giving Jason the exact window of opportunity he needs to strike. A solo Jason extraction, relying entirely on his own god-tier mechanical execution of stealth and brutal combat, would be the most iconic television moment of the entire year. Slay, honestly, just pure, unfiltered action hero Jason doing what he does best. But we also have to deeply factor in the legal side of this massive tangled mess. Jason is only in WSB custody in the first place, because of his false confession to protect a child. If Dante Falconeri and Elizabeth Baldwin can secure the rock-solid evidence proving Rocco pulled the trigger in self-defense, or if Cullum's entire operation is exposed to the world as a corrupt illegal syndicate, the charges against Jason could theoretically be dropped entirely. If Rocco Falconeri is officially out of danger and the truth is brought to light, Jason has absolutely no reason to stay in custody or run from the law. He could return to Port Charles as a completely free man. The painful irony is that he might have to fight his way out of an illegal black site halfway across the globe just to find out he's already been legally exonerated back home. The disconnect between his physical reality in Jakarta and the legal reality in port, Charles is a massive source of narrative tension that is driving me absolutely insane. Let's pivot back to Anna for a second, because the synergy between her rescue and Jason's is way too good to ignore. Valentine is absolutely desperate to see Anna face to face. He knows Jen Sidwell is behind her torment and the twisted illusions of Faison. If Sonny and Ethan are handling the Cullum and Jakarta problem, Valentine could easily go completely rogue and head to France to extract Anna himself. A split-screen, dual-continent rescue operation, where Sonny's crew breaches the WSB dark site in Indonesia, while Valentine infiltrates the psychiatric clinic in Europe, would be absolute television gold. It elevates the entire canvas to a global thriller. We are talking about legacy characters reclaiming their power after months of being victimized by faceless government entities and rogue agents. It is the exact kind of high-stakes, explosive storytelling that made us day one stands in the very first place. I am sitting here staring at my screen, just reeling from the massive implications of all this new information. The emotional toll this show takes on us is completely absurd. But we keep coming back every single day because, when they hit it out of the park, they really hit it out of the park. The thought of Steve Burton and Finola Hughes both making these triumphant, battle-scarred returns to Port Charles in July is literally the only thing keeping me going through this current storyline. We need to be watching for Easter eggs and clues hidden in every single scene between now and then. Every word out of Brennan's mouth before he went under every intense look between Sonny and Ethan. Every subtle hint in Anna's delusions, it all matters. The puzzle pieces are scattering across the board, and it is entirely up to us to put them together before the grand finale of this summer blockbuster arc. So besties, buckle up and hold on tight. The next few weeks are going to be a bumpy, chaotic, emotionally ruinous ride for all of us. We are about to witness the spectacular dismantling of Ross Cullum, the long-awaited exposure of Jen Sidwell, and the glorious, violent, heartbreaking return of Jason. Whether he comes back shattered by PTSD or hardened into an unstoppable weapon of vengeance, his return is going to completely reset the entire simulation. I am so incredibly ready to watch Sonny Ethan, Valentine and the rest of the squad burn the WSB to the ground to get our people back where they belong. Keep your eyes peeled, keep your theories wild, and never, ever underestimate the power of a Port Charles rescue mission. We are so back, and I am literally vibrating with excitement. Drop your hottest takes in the comments below, because I desperately need to know I am not the only one losing my mind over this epic saga.